Yeah! Howdy, partners. Thanks for joining me again for music this week. In case you haven't guessed it, this week we are focusing on country music. Last week we learned a little bit about rap and hip hop, and this week we're focusing on country now. On today's agenda, we are going to learn a little bit about the history of country music. Then we're going to sing a short song, country song. Then we are going to do some country music star trivia. Should be really fun. And then at the end, we're going to try to write our very own country song. So we've got lots of stuff to do today. Buckle up, or should I say saddle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. We're going to start off with a short little story about the history of country music. Deep in America's heartland, country music made its name. Hank Williams was the first bright star in the Country Music Hall of Fame. Patsy Cline, she drove us crazy. Her songs were strings of pearls. She shook up country music and kicked down doors for the girls. Tammy Wynette stood by her man. She sang of loss and loyalty. When she and George Jones sang duets, they were country royalty. Merle Haggard had such swagger, he was a bad boy through and through. He knew how to push the limits, but he always stayed so true. Charlie Pride had hits for sure. 29 songs at number 1. He's still out there performing. He's nowhere close to done. Loretta Lynn was tough enough to rule the country scene. This coal miner's daughter was a real-life country queen. They called George Strait the cowboy. Texas King, he raised the bar. He's Garth Brooks' inspiration. That's another superstar. There's no one quite like Johnny Cash. Only he has walked that line. His voice is unmistakable. His star will always shine. Dolly Parton is a legend, from her music to her hair. From Hollywood to Dollywood, she sparkles everywhere. Still touring in his 80s, Willie Nelson broke the mold. He's got that something special that unites fans, young and old. Shania Twain's a household name. These days, she's still the one. Carrie Underwood's our idol, and her shows are always fun. These country stars all fly the flag. Their music makes us proud. And they inspire young hopefuls to sing their dreams out loud. Howdy, partners. Now it's time for us to sing a little country song. So here's what I'm going to do. I have the lyrics for this country song already brought up. The song is Purple Light in the Canyons. It's an old song that was actually made famous by someone you wouldn't expect to be a country singer, but Dean Martin. He was a famous actor and singer back in the 1950s and 60s. So he's the one that made this song famous. It's a super simple song. It's just a repeat after me song. So there is one line that's not repeat after me, and it's where it says all together on my screen. It says all together, and that part is just my knapsack, pony, and me. But the song's super repetitive. I think you guys will get the hang of it. All right, so you'll notice in here that I have the part that you repeat after me in parentheses. It's a pretty easy song and fun to sing. Goes like this. Purple canyon. That's where I long to be, with my 3 good companions all together, my knapsack, pony, and me. Next part. Gonna hang my sombrero on the limb of a tree. Coming home, sweetheart, darling, just my knapsack, pony, and me. Nice, getting the hang of it. Whippoorwill in the willow sings a sweet melody, riding to Amarillo, just my knapsack, pony, and me. One last verse. No more cows to be roping, no more strays will I see. Round the bend she'll be waiting for my knapsack, pony, and me. Once more, for my knapsack, pony, and me. Nicely done. Give yourselves a round of applause. That was awesome. So pretty simple. If you feel like you don't really quite have the song yet, you could always rewind this video and go through it again. Nice singing there, cowboys and cowgirls.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Family Feud, Country Music Edition. Test your knowledge on the vast genre of country music, from classics such as Johnny Cash to modern-day cowboys like Blake Shelton. Now, here's your guest, Terry Underwood. No affiliation to famous country music artist Carrie Underwood.
Hello, good evening. Thank you all for coming. Hello, welcome to Family Feud, Country Music Edition. Don't mind my remote control microphone. It really is a microphone. Here's how tonight's game will work. I will ask a question about the genre of country music. Now, we polled the audience beforehand, and we came up with a list of 6 correct answers. All right, so you will have 60 seconds for each question to write down as many of those correct answers as you can think of. After 60 seconds, I will reveal the 6 correct answers. Now, each of those answers have a number of points attached to that answer. So, for example, if you get an answer that's worth 31 points, you will add that up, and however many correct answers you get by the end, that is your total point score. Now, are you ready to play Family Feud, Country Music Edition? All right, here we go. Round 1. Famous artists from this genre include, so right now, contestants, you are going to write down as many famous artists from the country music genre as you can think of. I will give you 60 seconds. Thirty more seconds on the clock.
And time is up. Famous artists from the country music genre include, let's see, Hank Williams for 31 points, Jimmy or Roy Rogers for 22 points, Gene Autry for 17 points, Johnny Cash for 14 points, Patsy Cline for 11 points, and final answer, Garth Brooks or George Strait for 5 points. Contestants, if you got any of these answers correct, go ahead and take a moment to tally up your points. Moving on to round 2. Contestants, if you need a moment or two extra to tally up those points, feel free to pause the video. Round 2. An instrument that you are likely to hear in a country song is 60 seconds on the clock. Now keep in mind, you need to be very specific about these instruments. For example, there are several types of guitars that are used in country music, but what kind of guitars? 60 seconds on the clock starting now. You're writing down as many instruments that you can think of that you would hear in a country song. "30 seconds on the clock. "10 seconds. An instrument that you are likely to hear in a country song is number 1, steel guitar for 31 points. Oops. Number 2, acoustic guitar for 27 points. Now, an acoustic guitar is just a regular plain old guitar, one that doesn't have any wires coming out of it. So if you wrote guitar, just guitar, you can include that for 27 points. Third answer, electric guitar for 14 points. Banjos for 12 points. Fiddles for 11 points. And harmonicas for 5 points. If you got any of these answers correct, go ahead and tally up your points. You can add them on to your points from round 1. If you need a moment, pause the video now. Otherwise, we are moving on to round 3. Here we go. Round 3. Other genres that are similar, influenced, or were influenced by this genre. So what other types of music inspired country music? 60 seconds on the clock. Write down as many as you can think of, starting now. "30 seconds on the clock. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Put your pencils or pens down. Here are the other genres that are similar, influenced, or were influenced by country music. Survey says folk for 27 points. If you wrote down folk music, 27 points for you. Gospel music for 25 points. Jazz for 17 points. Bluegrass for 15 points. Honky-tonk or rockabilly for 10 points. And cowboy or western songs from the days of yore, 6 points. 6 points. Take a moment, tally up your points. If you need to pause the video to do so, pause the video now. Otherwise, we are moving on to round 4. Here we go, round 4. Well-known songs by Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash, a country legend himself. Go ahead, 60 seconds on the clock. See if you can name a few Johnny Cash songs starting now. Thirty seconds on the clock. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pens and pencils down. Well-known songs by Johnny Cash. We have Walk the Line for 25 points. Ring of Fire for 24 points. Ghost Riders in the Sky, 22 points. Man in Black for 14 points. Folsom Prison Blues for 9 points. And last but not least, we have Sunday Morning Coming and Hurt for 6 points. So if you got either of those last two songs, Sunday Morning Coming or Hurt, 6 points for you. All right, take a moment, tally up your points. We still have 2 more rounds of Family Feud to go. Round 5. These are just a few country singers who are members of the famous Grand Ole Opry. Now, in case you were wondering, the Grand Ole Opry is a huge theater down in Nashville, Tennessee. Very, very famous for having lots of famous country music singers there. All right, here we go. 60 seconds on the clock. Who might be some famous members of the Grand Ole Opry? 60 seconds starting now. Ten more seconds on the clock. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pens and pencils down, please. These are just a few country singers who are members of the famous Grand Ole Opry. Survey says Johnny Cash for 33 points. You have Johnny Cash on your list, 33 points for you. Dolly Parton for 23 points. You have Dolly Parton, you add 23 points. Carrie Underwood for 22 points. No relation to myself, Terry Dunderwood. Number 4, Garth Brooks for 12 points. 5, Alison Krauss for 7 points. And last but not least, number 6, we have Blake Shelton for 3 points. Go ahead, take a moment, tally up your points. You can pause the video if you need a moment to tally up your points. Otherwise, we are moving on to the last round. Round 6. Here we go. Which state has a high percentage of people that listen to country music? Think of all of the 50 states. Take a moment and go ahead and start writing your list. States that have a lot of people that listen to country music. "30 seconds on the clock. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and pencils and pens down. Which state has a high percentage of people that listen to country music? Survey says Arkansas, Kansas, and Texas. If you got either of those, 28 points for you. Alabama and Mississippi for 24 points. Number 3, Tennessee and Kentucky for 18 points. Number 4, Virginia and West Virginia. If you got one or both of those, 16 points for you. Idaho, Utah, and Colorado. If you got either of those 3, 9 points for you. And Wyoming and Montana for 5 points. Go ahead, take a moment, tally up your points for your final points. All right, I hope you did really well on our Family Feud Country Music Edition. I'm Terry Dunderwood. Thank you so much for playing, and we will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. All right, cowgirls and cowboys, I hope you enjoyed today's music lesson, and I hope you were able to learn something new about the genre of country music. For this week's assignment, if you choose to do it, I am asking, nay, I am challenging you to see if you can write your own country music song. All right, in the description box below this video, I am including 2 country music accompaniment tracks. All right, so they're super simple, made up of just 3 chords repeated over and over again. There is a fast one and a slow one. So I would like you to go through and listen to both of those, decide which one you would like to use, and have some fun with it. You're going to write your own lyrics. You can write as much or as little as you choose. And you get to choose which track you would like to use, whether you want to do the fast one or the slow one. I want to see just what you can come up with. I want you guys to have fun with it. And who knows, you may be the next big country music star. All right, I had a lot of fun with you this week. I look forward to seeing you next week. And again, I'm going to keep next week's genre a surprise.
So you'll have to tune in to see what that is. All right, guys, have an awesome week, and I will see you next time.